So we're going to post this interview in full, basically, on our website, and we're going to do the same with your opponent as well. And because of that, there was a statement that your opponent made that it's not anything that I think you're going to find new, but I want to give you the opportunity to respond to it. And it just sort of has to do with your campaign and issues you've raised with the budget. But what Scott Christensen said was, when you start to look, this is a direct quote, when you start to look at the level of cooperation between all levels of government in Boone County, it's too distracting to be casting stones, saying we have an appalling budget process and the stormwater program is horrific and the county clerk really only works during the elections. And I think pointing the finger and casting blame isn't how we're going to get anything done. I think that just sort of it gets to the big picture of how Scott Christensen sees this race, and I wonder how you'd respond to that.
Well, I'm not sure what Scott Christensen is all about. I really don't know. I mean, he talks about his leadership style or his management style, and I have no clue to what that is. And I don't know if anybody else does, because I'm not sure what he's ever managed. As far as I know, he doesn't have any employees, so he's never had a business where he's had to hire and fire people and be responsible for payrolls and things like that. And obviously, you know, I don't have a problem getting along with hardly anyone except my wife on occasion, but that's a different issue. But in terms of, you know, for 30 years I was a director of all these research centers. We had lots of employees. We had lots of problems, you know, just like in any business. I was responsible for covering the payroll. It was a for-profit center, which means that we had a revolving account. Unlike all of the other, there were only about 7 or 8 of them in the entire university that were able to carry money over from one year to the other simply because we were a business. But, you know, and I've been the president of 2 neighborhood associations, and let me tell you, that can get really interesting. Where you have all these neighbors, supposedly, who are supposedly friends, who get into disputes or disagreements with one another. And it's up to the president and the other officers of those associations to sort of smooth out those little problems that arise periodically. And sometimes they're not so little. I mean, you get people suing one another, and then it gets to be pretty much hard. Well, a lot of hard feelings can get involved. And then the other thing I've done, which I don't think most people know, I've never talked about it much, was I was president of the Diamond Council. And that's the local Little League organization. We have 2,000, when I was in there, we had almost 2,000 children playing baseball and softball, which means that you have several thousand parents who are involved in that, and you have several hundred coaches, some of which are a little too aggressive or for their own good. But it's an interesting situation, and I was involved in that for 15 to 20 years, either as a coach or a league official, or actually I was secretary, vice president, and president. So you learn how to get along with people, you learn how to negotiate, you learn how, you know, to compromise. And I've been very good at that my entire life. I don't see any problems working with the city. I don't see any problems working with the city of Columbia or the other cities in the county, and I certainly don't anticipate any problems working with any of the other elected officials. You know, I have my opinions as to which of the offices are more full-time or less full-time. I'm sure lots of other people, everybody in the county probably who has any familiarity whatsoever with county government, probably has their own beliefs or you know, their own thoughts as to, you know, how all of that works. And you know, it's something that we need to talk about. It's something, and it's not something we need to sweep under the table, that's for sure. You know, now that we brought it up, since all these people are paid so well, it may be time to review all of these positions and decide, you know, exactly how much each of them would merit in terms of salary if it was done in the private sector. And obviously, there's going to be a big difference between the collector and the assessor and the treasurer and the county clerk. They're not all going to be the same, and there's no reason that they all should have a remuneration rate that's the same. So that's all I'm saying. Let's look at it. I'm not going to make the decision. Okay, it's not my job. My job is to simply try to preside over the county commission and get the work of the people of Boone County done. And we'll bring in, if we decide to go a charter route, okay, then we will have a new mechanism in place for reviewing the salaries of elected officials. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, Ed Robb, Republican candidate for Boone County Presiding Commission, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.